Hi, my name's Ilma and welcome to my channel. I have been posting Christian blogs 14 straight years every day. Before I begin, I'd like to thank those who prayed for me for my illness, and I'm a little better today than the last 2 days. So thanks for that. Please continue for me to continue with the healing. Today I'd like to share Matthew 23 verses 1 to 12. Here's the word of God. Then Jesus said to the crowds and to his disciples, "The scribes and the Pharisees sit on Moses' seat, so do and observe whatever they tell you, but not the works they do. For they preach, but do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens hard to bear and lay them on people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to move them with their finger. They do all their deeds to be seen by others, for they make their phylacteries broad and their fringes long, and they love the place of honor at feasts and the best seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the marketplaces and being called rabbi by others. But you are not to be called rabbi, for you have one teacher, and you are all brothers. And call no man your father on earth, for you have one Father who is in heaven. Neither be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Christ. The greatest among you shall be your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted." Matthew 23, 1 to 12. Here's my poem. The humble will be exalted. To seek adulation for oneself is the way the haughty lives for. Every effort they do is all about being lifted up. They act and do all kinds of deeds as a way to perform. Everything they do is grandiose so they can get attention. The humble, on the other hand, keep silently what they do. They don't want to be recognized for their good. They serve other people's interests and know their importance. Because they humble themselves, God will exalt them also. Here's my commentary. In this account, we see Jesus' teaching on humility. It is interesting how he gave the Pharisees as an example of the opposite of a humble person. Jesus used the proud Pharisees as a lesson to watch out for. He didn't want them to follow the way of the proud and hypocrites. They tie up heavy burdens, hard to bear, and they lay them on people's shoulders. They do all their deeds to be seen by others. They preach but do not practice what they preach. They love the place of honor at feasts and the best seats in the synagogues. They love being greeted in the marketplace and called rabbi. How could we translate these haughty ways in our society now? How can you identify the haughty person? They like to parade their knowledge and be honored and respected for it. They make rules and expectations for others that are hard to follow, and they are difficult to make others' lives hard. They do not follow what they teach others. They are entitled and want the best of anything and everything. They love accolades and titles and positions to feel great, powerful, and important. Sadly, this is the opposite of what Jesus sampled for us. God expects a servant's heart from his people, not a boastful and proud one. Reflection. Share insight how God exalted the humble. You can share your own or examples in the Bible. Well, I'd like to take the Joseph, who is very humble, and it's interesting how he was envied by his own brothers because he had a confidence. Humility, true humility, is actually knowing your strength and your weaknesses, and using all your strength to honor God or to lift up others. So when he was declaring all his dreams to his brothers, they got angry because It explained how he in the dream, because they didn't know he was prophetic, so they gave the dream of all the other brothers bowing down to him, but they didn't know that it was a prophecy. So in the end, even though they sold him to slavery, God still exalted him and gave him the highest position in Egypt. So at the time of the famine, they all went to Egypt, the brothers who tried to kill him and sold him. And so what happened was, like, they were so afraid when they learned that it was Joseph who had that position and power to do what they did wrong to him, but he didn't. So God exalted him and he healed his brothers. And so it's important for us to recognize that when we know our place, that if we are thankful and that if we are humble enough to accept that what we have is what God has given us. So it's important for us to share that, to give God the glory and not to give ourselves the glory. Thanks for watching. I hope you check my website at ILMA'S.com for artworks, photographs, and a copy of this blog. Please subscribe to my channel on YouTube so I can make more videos, give you the Word of God. And if you haven't already, check over 4,000 videos I've done over the years. I've been doing this daily. Just type on YouTube or Google search ILMA'S Poem Devotional. Have a wonderful day.